As Nigerians grapple with the aftershocks of President Bola Tinubu's inaugural speech and fuel subsidy removal, stakeholders, civil society organizations, and other well-meaning Nigerians are calling on the president to immediately provide palliative measures to reduce the impact on Nigerians. The pronouncement has undoubtedly led to increased transportation cost, higher cost of living, inflation, and reduced purchasing power. News Centre's Perpetua Fasumi Peter spoke with economic analysts on structural palliatives that will effectively cushion the impact of fuel subsidy removal on the nation's poor. Here's the report.
A consensus among many economists is that a general subsidy regime for PMS is largely misdirected and unsustainable, as the upper and middle classes typically consume more fuel than the poor.
So, for example, I will say to you that the most vulnerable people in villages, in rural areas, have limited to zero touch points with petrol. So their lives will not be impacted materially because you remove petrol subsidy. Many of them won't even know how much they sell the price of those products. So the poorest people that will be most impacted are the low-income earners in urban areas and towns. So imagine someone in Lagos who is earning 30,000, 40,000 naira per month and have to commit to work every day. So they spend a lot on transportation. They don't produce the food that they eat. They have to buy food and then they have to pay rent. Their life can become almost impossible. So these are the category of vulnerable Nigerians that we have to target with our intervention.
Among analysts, however, there have also been a debate about what the real palliatives should be.
If you improve the transport infrastructure in Lagos, and it is not difficult, half of the people that would have suffered this increase in petrol prices will not feel it, because in the morning you get on the train, you go to work, and they don't run on petrol, the trains. The ferries don't run on petrol, most likely diesel, which the price has not changed. So if you improve those services, the people will leave their cars at home. That's, for me, those are the real palliatives.
And those interventions could be by way of encouraging the employers to increase their wages. Government can do that for the public sector, and then you provide the framework or incentive for the private sector to be able to do that with some credit from government, and also exempt them from paying personal income tax on those minimum wages. In addition to that, you can then find a way to make sure that the sector is attractive to public transportation investment. The whole idea of asking government to go and do the investment and provide buses is not sustainable. But if you make it attractive, demand has now been created, and then supply will follow from the investors. That, you go to some developed countries and you see a CEO of a big company that says, I have no car. They just get into public transportation and they are fine. That's also even good for the environment. I think in the medium to long term, this holds a lot of promise for Nigeria, and it will have significant benefit.
Earlier in the week, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu directed the National Economic Council to come up with inputs on palliatives and the minimum wage review as part of measures to cushion the pain of subsidy removal, raising hopes among Nigerians that the current hardship being experienced might be short-lived. Perpetua Fasumi Peter reporting for News Central.